It started when I was 10, caddying and playing golf at the East Aurora Country Club. That hooked me on golf, both the earning money as caddy and playing golf with my buddies.
So it really all began when I learned there was this guy who was building a golf course out on the coast of Bannon in the middle of nowhere.
He thought he would do it by calling me and giving me the pitch, which I was resistant to. And then one day he called and said, "I would like to give you a helicopter ride of the south coast of Oregon where you've built a golf resort. And how do you turn down a free helicopter ride?"
And he said, "That sounds great. When are you coming?" I'm like, "Well, let me get back to you." And I hung up the phone. I was like, "Oh wow, I gotta go get a helicopter now." We flew the south coast, several river systems, and I pointed out, this is what's going on with timber, this is what's going on with agriculture, this is what's going on with fish, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when we landed the helicopter, Mike's first words were, "How do we fix it, Joe?" I'm like, that was the win right there.
I would call myself a land steward prior to meeting Joe, but Joe taught me how to be a conservationist. I responded by saying, "Joe, have you ever thought of doing a fundraiser in a golf outing?"
I was like, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Like, who can raise money playing golf? Like, how does that work?
I assured Joe that if he had an outing in Bannon Dunes, it would make some money. I didn't know how much.
I went back to Portland, and there were some folks on board, primarily Tim Boyle, who runs Columbia Sportswear. I was telling him and Gary Fish, who runs the Shoots Brewery, and they said, "Well, here's how this is going to go. Whenever this meeting is over, you're going to call Mike back, and you're going to say, 'We would love to do a golf tournament.'" It's been great. I mean, to date now we've raised north of $3 million to go on the ground for conservation and support the mission of the Freshwater Trust. So it's been huge. So I guess Mike was right.
Being in business my entire life, I think that a lot of people in the not-for-profit world think that business people are in it only to make money. And I know from experience that they do want to make money, but they want to make it so they can do good with it. And one of the nice things about Freshwater Trust and Joe Whitworth is he acknowledges that. He desires to work with business people, not to be critical of them.
Well, the outdoors is Columbia's business. I mean, not only the Columbia brand, but Mountain Hardwear, Prana, and Sorel are all based on the outdoors. And so if they don't exist, it's going to be more difficult for us. When we start talking about the specifics, and this is why the Rogue Challenge has been so interesting for me, we can point to on mile whatever, there's a log pile or a gravel bar that is very important to the habitat of the fish in that river, and we put that there. That's when I think you can really convince somebody that you've got something good.
We're starting to see businesses and conservation come together in more of a blended way. So it's not an either-or proposition, it's an and both. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. The great thing about rivers and the great thing about water, they're fixable. If you give them a chance and you give them a boost, they can get on a trajectory toward health. We're already seeing that happen. I mean, we're seeing fish responses go through the roof. That's what we wanted to do. We take a lot of focused effort and money and put it on the ground in just the right places, and you get real uplift. I mean, fixing rivers is what this thing's all about.